Hello everyone. So my daughter got a new pair of shoes and this box was so sturdy and I was like, oh, I have to use it in my craft room, but I just didn't want it to say Urban Kids. So I took some white acrylic paint and I'm kind of erasing this part here. Now it took me about 3 applications of it. You do notice once I finished doing this little DIY box that there's a bit of a white discoloration. So at this point what you can do is paint the entire lid the same color. Or you can then use 2 pieces of tissue paper layered and that would solve the problem as well. You'll see what I mean. So what you're going to need is some tissue paper, a shoebox, and some Mod Podge. So I'm just pouring Mod Podge actually into a little glass jar that I have that has a lid, because sometimes I don't finish my project all in one sitting and I just don't want the Mod Podge to dry up. It does dry up really quickly. So I'm going to take 1 sheet of tissue paper, and I chose this one here from the Dollar Tree because it matches something else that I had purchased not too long ago. And I'm going to apply 1 thin coat of Mod Podge, and I'm going to work in sections around the box. So I'm going to apply the Mod Podge and then I'm going to just wrap the tissue paper around the box, and I'll just show you exactly how I'm doing it and where the cuts are kind of going. So with maybe 10 cents, 15 cents, I have a beautiful new box that matches my craft decor and other patterns that I have in my craft room. I absolutely love how this turned out. Just be patient when you're smoothing it out. I didn't apply Mod Podge as a top coat, however you can to give it a more finished feel. I didn't think I needed it, and for where it's going, it's in a safe spot. So I actually did like the way it finished off with just the tissue paper and not a Mod Podge layer. And again, this little area here, I could have done some white acrylic paint, or I can now double layer the tissue paper just to kind of hide the imperfections, to cover up the imperfections that are under the tissue paper. So again, you can double layer or use some acrylic paint and just kind of paint it whatever color your box is to hide those imperfections. I hope you guys love this DIY. It's so simple and easy, but I thought it is such a budget-friendly DIY that I couldn't pass up the opportunity to share it with you guys. And it only takes a few minutes from your time, and you have a cute little box that matches your decor, or you can do whatever tissue paper that you like, that inspires you, that makes you feel happy. So I thought I would share this with you guys because I think it will help many of you create something for your spaces, even if it's in your closet or in your bathroom. We always need a little box to store some things, right? Even if it's a smaller box to put in a drawer or anything like that. So I allowed the acrylic paint to dry off here. I allowed the acrylic paint to dry, and then I'm just applying a couple more layers, making sure I don't see Urban Kids, the text written across the top of my box. So I worked in sections. I found it easier to work with the tissue paper this way. Kind of as the tissue paper was working its way around the box, that's how I kind of went with it, and then I just smoothed it out in sections. If the paper was longer on one part, then that's what I worked with on the other. Now make sure if you do have sections that you're happy with where the pattern aligns. So again, just choosing where your pattern is going to start and end and stuff like that. I also left about 1 centimeter trim extra on both bottom and top of the box, so that once as you can see there's some paper kind of sticking out, so that once I finished doing the entire border of the box, I was able to kind of seal down and flip over and give that nice smooth finishing trim or border, however you want to say it, so that the box looked completely in line. All the paper was nice and smooth, and I wasn't cutting to fit the exact sides, so the trim was like nice and folded over on the top of the box and underneath the box. You'll see exactly what I mean. I'm having a hard time explaining it here, but I just wanted to give you a heads up before you cut the paper completely in line with the box. This was the section I was referring to. So now I'm just going to border some Mod Podge around the bottom part of the box, and then I'm just going to tuck in all the extra tissue paper right under so that it has a nice finishing touch to the border of the box. And I'm going to just do the same to the inner part on the top. So you just find your Mod Podge, glue down your tissue paper. If you have to use your fingers, don't worry, you can wash your hands off really easily. And then again, the inside part of the box, I did the exact same. So I made sure my acrylic paint was completely dried, and now I'm going to apply, otherwise the Mod Podge would just kind of move the acrylic paint around. So now I'm going to apply a nice even coat of Mod Podge across the lid, and then apply my tissue paper evenly, as smoothing out as many of the wrinkles as possible, and just going from there. Again, don't forget, you can always seal a layer of Mod Podge, but for now this is just the way I liked it, and so I'm not doing a full seal of Mod Podge on the outer layer. Again, it's really easy to apply. Once you go kind of quick, then you can just smooth out all the lines and bubbles if there's any. And again, I'm just going to do the full side of the lid, work my way around, Mod Podging it, and then just kind of tucking in the exact same technique, leaving about 1 centimeter so that the flap can go over and under, and it just keeps everything nice, smooth, and gives it a nice finishing touch. And again, for the bottom part, I did this, and now I wanted to do this for the lid, making sure that I flip some of that tissue paper over the edges of the box and the lid so that everything is neat and tidy. Now you can give yourself a couple little slits on the corners, so then you can just kind of Mod Podge it flat. If you're finding that you run into these little flaps, just kind of cut them off and then use some Mod Podge to mold the tissue paper or move the tissue paper into its position. It's very pliable, so just putting a little bit of Mod Podge will make it easy to work with, and you will not even see a seam, because once it's Mod Podged down, it just looks really nice and tidy. You can't tell it was cut at all. And that is it. Your box is complete. You put the lid on, put your things in it, and it's good to go. I hope you guys enjoyed this very simple DIY. If you did, please let me know down in the comments, what color are you going to be making your next box. Until the next time, everyone, have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.